Hi, I'm Sophia L. I'm a self development and mindset mentor, mom of two, a teenager. My daughter's 14, and my son is just about 2.5. Pretty big age gap there, and we'll get to that. So, I got into this work that I'm pretty much obsessed with. I just love it so much because it's completely changed my life in unimaginable ways that I didn't know were possible. So let's rewind a bit. I had my daughter a year and a half into our marriage. Did I say that I was married? I'm married also for 17 years. We just made actually a few weeks ago. And it sounds so old saying that, yet I don't feel old, so that's weird. Anyways, so so she came along super easily, the best surprise ever, right? But then a few years later, when we wanted to try to have another perfect baby just like her, it wasn't happening. Month after month, disappointment, heartbreak, just like compounded over time every single month. And I started, just exploring different things. Of course, I did the practical things that you normally do. You go see a doctor, you go see a few doctors, and you try to figure it out, right? So I also tried like holistic and natural ways of doing things because it didn't feel right. Like, when like the love of your life, like, you know what's meant for you and what's not. And I just knew that fertility alternatives weren't what I was meant to do. I just had this knowing that I was going to figure this thing out, right? What I didn't know though was that it was going to take me 7 years to do so. Those 7 years, as you can imagine, were like a roller coaster. I would be really strong on my faith and know that it was coming because it's a desire of my heart. And if it's a desire of my heart, God put it there. And of course, He will make a way and it'll come and it'll happen, right? But I was praying, begging, like on my knees every night at times. And it still didn't happen. So I knew there was another way. I started really strengthening my relationship and my connection with the divine God, the universe, whatever you refer to it as. And I started feeling super connected to the divine. Just started asking different questions, instead of like, where's my baby and why isn't he here yet? Because I was calling in my son, which I also knew I was just meant for and made for, and I knew he was coming. I just knew it in my just deep down. I just knew. And if I could go back, I would say don't ever question that. I did question it, here and there, and I would just never question myself again. You know what's meant for you. And I think your faith in that is what makes it come so much quicker because you'll be open to possibilities. You'll be open to knowing, like, oh, okay, this is my next step. This is my right next step towards whatever it is that I'm trying to bring in, create in my life, right? And so, if you are someone who is wanting to conceive, wanting to be pregnant, wanting to get pregnant naturally, but even alongside IVF or IUI or any other fertility treatments, depending on when you see this and what comes out in the future, then this is for you. I know what it feels like to want a baby so bad and to be heartbroken month after month, like I said. And I went into a really deep low at one point, and it was really tough to get out of it. We all go through like highs and lows, and this low was there for quite a while. And then I again strengthened my faith and really relied on a power bigger than me, higher than me. It's what I needed. It's the only thing that really got me through that time. And I I started asking, back to what I was saying before, I started asking, different things and different questions, like, and thinking differently and being open to different possibilities. Lead me to my next steps. I'm open. Like, God guide me. And then doing what I was guided to do the next day. And it's something that you feel, or that you'll, like, a thought will occur in your head and you'll know it's not yours, and then you follow it and you find out, and it strengthens over time, like a muscle, like anything, right? Over time it gets better and better. That if you also want to explore that path, and I highly recommend it, and you are likely led to me if you are already on that path, right? So I'm so happy you are here. I never thought I would be doing this kind of work. But after my journey and my experience, my journey to Jonathan, like I so often say in my work, I I couldn't not I couldn't not do this. I couldn't not get my work out there. I couldn't not share my story, because if it helps even one person, you know, it's worth it. And I have helped many women up until now, and I know I will help so many more, because unfortunately, so many women are dealing with infertility, but there is a better way. And I wish I knew that over the 7 years. And now I'm here sharing my story so that you don't have to take 7 years, because I know I could have had my son earlier. I don't believe in the whole, it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. I believe when you want it, it's when it's meant to happen. Whatever that is: marriage, career, babies, changing homes, whatever it is. I believe the desire comes in your heart at the time that you're supposed to have it. And that's divine timing. How long it takes you to get there is entirely up to you. You don't have to believe anything that you don't want to believe. By the way, I'm very, very big on that. And especially when it comes to your fertility and your creating abilities and what you are capable of in this life. And so I'm here to remind you of your power, to remind you that this doesn't have to be hard. And I know it's contrary to what you are hearing on TV, at the doctor's offices. I'm sure people share some not so wonderful stories of their experiences. And I wish I had someone telling me what I am telling you, and that is, you get to get pregnant naturally, to have a healthy pregnancy, both you and the baby, healthy and happy, and you get to look and feel good. And that one was a really big one for me. Obviously, with this infertility journey, it was secondary infertility, and it did not look like I was going to get pregnant. All the signs in my, like, reality were telling me this wasn't going to happen. 7 years worth of negative pregnancy tests. Um, and of course, there were times where I was like, you know what? Thank God I have one. I was always grateful for my daughter. Don't get me wrong. Like, but there were times where I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what I'm meant for. And it's the three of us, and I get to give her the best life I could possibly give her, and focus on her and love on her and give her all that she needs and be all that she needs from, as a mother, as her mother. But it just didn't feel right, when I just felt like I know I'm gonna give her a sibling. It just felt like I was lying to myself, like, within like, just, it just didn't feel right. It just felt like, "Why are you lying to yourself?" Every time I said these things to myself or to my husband when we would talk about it, and I really refrained from confiding in people about this journey because they shared, whether I asked them to or not, and they were so open about what they were going through and their thoughts on my journey, and it was like a protective thing for me. I was like, "This is really intimate and sacred, and I'm not gonna just open up to anyone and everyone about this." And I love that I did that because what we focus on grows. And I'm a big believer that when we're inviting other people to also focus on this thing that we don't like or love or want to be occurring, their energy, their focus on it is just going to make it grow. And so I didn't know that at the time or think that way at the time, but now realizing how much energy plays a part and how much our belief and focus plays a part in creating everything in our lives, I refrain from that. And if someone asks me how I'm doing, I am doing wonderfully. I am doing great at all times. It's not because I'm lying. It's because big picture, yeah, I am great. I might be having a bad day or a bad, not even day, like few hours, maybe minutes even. I'm not going to share that so you could focus on it too. And then it just grows. Like that's just how I do it. And it works for me. So do with that what you will. Um yeah, you will get to know me more if you stick around. I am not big on complaining. I very much dislike complaining. I wasn't always like this. So, but then we grow and we evolve, and I realize that's not healthy or good for me, and it doesn't help me in any which way or anyone else for that matter. So, from now on, you are not to share about your fertility journey with anyone. It's going well. We are making progress. You can say, or some things that you can say instead of whatever the truth may be. And let it be a sacred experience between you, your baby, your husband, your partner, and God, and because you all want the same thing, and let your love and focus help that grow and focus on the end goal, which is your baby in your arms already, right? And after taking like divinely guided steps towards just even feeling better, right? Just even like getting out of depression naturally and like holistically, like just on my own with self development and mindset work, I was then led to fertility. No, that's my course. Fertility Mindset Makeover is what I've created, and it contains everything. Let's just go there because that wanted to come out. It contains everything I did to get pregnant. Now, obviously, I have self development and like mindset work in it, but the biggest, one of the bigger parts of it is rapid transformational therapy. And that therapy was pioneered by a woman named Marissa Peer. If you haven't heard of her, if you're not familiar with her, and I was led to her, and there was something about her. Like I heard one of her talks here on YouTube, and there was something about her that I just had to know more. And I learned that she had a certification program for her therapy that she offers and hypnotherapy. And so I just knew I had to sign up. It was like one of those knowings again that I was talking about earlier. And so I signed up, and I just kept taking these next steps that I was guided towards, right? I fascinated, completely fascinated with this therapy and what it is capable of and how it transforms people's lives. And while I learned it and while I was practicing it, I was changing and I was myself transforming to just a better version of myself, and it was a really beautiful thing. It still is because I continue to work on myself and develop and evolve and just learn and grow and strengthen my skills in this because I love it so much and it has absolutely changed my life. And another thing that happened when I found this therapy, I just knew it was the thing that was going to get me to my son. I didn't know how, I didn't know why I thought that. I knew that it could help with so many different things, ailments, phobias, issues in the human body, in the mind, but I did not know it could help with fertility just yet, and I just had a knowing that this was the thing that was going to get me there. And so I studied my ass off and I really dug into this work, like I said, and I was so fascinated with it. And I was practicing on everybody and anybody who would let me. And I saw changes in them. Whoops, sorry about that. That was like my little pocket angel that fell. And I saw changes and just it enhances you. It can only do good for you. It transforms, it enhances, it helps you evolve, it heals you. It's just so fascinating what it's possible of doing. And it was the thing that helped me bring my son into my life. And of course, along with everything else that I was doing, and I was doing the physical stuff too, not drinking alcohol, taking care of my health, and I always did take care of my health, but I was just way more aware this time. At this point in my life, I mean, and I was very aware of what I was putting on my body and knowing it goes into my body and just shampoos, conditioners, body wash, cleaning products, everything, deodorant, like everything I was using, I became hyper aware of all these things and changed all of it in our home and what we were using. And I was welcoming this baby into our family with open arms. And he came and he is here and he is perfect. And he's almost 2.5, like I said. And every day I have moments where I'm in complete awe of him and that he's here and that it happened. And here's the thing, your subconscious mind is there to protect you. So we have the conscious mind and then we have the subconscious mind. You're going to hear me talking about the subconscious mind a lot because it plays it plays a huge part of your life, right? It's 95% of your life. All your beliefs are there from childhood, from the very beginning, actually. And meaning like when you were in the your mom's womb. So, yes, I've seen and have I experienced that with a client? I may have experienced it once. I'm pretty sure I have experienced it once with a client where they went back into the womb, but I've seen it done so many times and you can go there. And so the mind is like a fascinating thing, and it goes where you need to go in session, and it knows exactly what you need, and it works every time. It's such a beautiful process, and I'm so grateful to Marissa Peer for creating it and for teaching it so well, and that I now too change people's lives with this work, right? And everything else that I've learned along the way. So I'm so happy you're here. I believe you were led here. I believe this was not an accident. I believe that, my whole journey wasn't an accident. Like, of course, for so long I said, like, like during my pregnancy, I was so grateful and like beyond grateful. And I would cry tears of joy daily. But I also wondered, why did it take this long? Why didn't I find RTT years ago, rapid transformational therapy? Why didn't I practice this stuff years ago? I was so far from this stuff. Like looking back and, at my journey in hindsight, it's like the version of me that I was before, the way I used to think, the way that I used to just go about my life was totally different. My mindset was totally different. And changing all of that, upgrading and updating, my program, because our minds are like a computer. And so you need to like update the programming for you to do better in life and to change, right? And so when I did that, it absolutely changed everything that I attracted in my life. I created a business, something I never even dreamed of doing, truly. Never even saw that for myself, like, didn't dream that high for myself. I, you know, something in RTT that I did something that we call installing the inner cheerleader. So, that critic in your mind that says not so nice things to you. Think about like when you drop something, like what do you say to yourself in your head? Is it like, oh, you're so sweet? Or is it idiot, moron? What are you doing? You're so dumb. Like what, that voice, that's the voice I'm talking about and referring to, can be reprogrammed to be your inner cheerleader and be like a best friend inside your mind. And that alone, like imagine having that voice in your head your entire life, or from this moment moving forward, how different your life could be. It could absolutely change everything for you. So it changes how you think, how you feel, how you behave, what you attract. It changes everything. So, yes, change is absolutely possible. Yes, you can do anything that you want to do. And I believe you should. I believe if the desire's in your heart and it won't harm someone else or take from someone else, then you are meant to do that. You are meant to have that. You are meant to be that. You just need the right steps to guide you to get there. And I'd love to do that for you. So, fertility mindset makeover. The wait list is open depending on when you see this video. But I'll link everything below and you can click and try and sign up. Maybe maybe the course will be open, fertility mindset makeover, or the wait list. But if you sign up for the wait list, I have incredible bonuses this year. And I just want to remind you that even if it doesn't look like it could happen, and even if they're telling you, and the doctors, people, whoever, are telling you, if whether or not you believe them is what's going to move the needle. It's going to be the thing that really structures your experience in this. So please choose wisely. Don't listen to everything and take it as fact. And then there's God. So, you know, just remember that. And if you're feeling like there has to be a better way, like I did for so many years, and there wasn't, and then I created one. This is why I created it. I created it for you. I created it for women who, like me, are wanting another baby. And not only that, but wanting to create their babies, their businesses, their best life, their best self, wanting to feel good and feel different, and if your life looks picture perfect on the outside, but somehow inside you feel like almost guilty that you're not as grateful as you should be for it. It's just that your mind needs a new program. That's all that it is. And I promise you, you can do this. And I have self-guided courses available on my website, Sophia with an F, ELLE.com. You can find them there. You can sign up for the waitlist there. I'll also link it below, like I said. And like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences. I'd love to hear from you. You are not alone in this, and it gets to be amazing for you. It gets to be good. You get to get pregnant, feel good, look good. You get to have the experience that you want to have. I hope you let that in. I hope you receive that. I love you. Thank you for being here. If you're here till the end, put a white heart below in the comments so that I know you stayed till the very end. I'll see you next time.